what are the key factors the U.S. Federal Reserve is considering when deciding whether to change interest rates, especially in light of President Donald Trump's recent economic policies?
Hello. Of course, the inflation factor. The inflation factor is highly considered by the by the Federal Reserve as the main factor in the rate cuts. The inflation rate now is still way too high, which hinders lowering the rate prices. According to the Fed president and another 11 regional federal banks, see that the continuity of the rates as they are is necessary. Unless the inflation rate declines in the United States of America, along with the inflation pressures that are still applied till now, the economic decision, the best economic decision, which will be preserving the current rates. So the most expected decision is keeping the rates as they are now. And for the desires of President Trump, they are not about economic issues or figures. They are only aspirations and ambitions. President Trump has stated in Davos that he wants to lower the rates and he wants to lower the inflation, in addition to other statements regarding internal decisions in the United States of America and intervening with other internal issues of other countries. All of these are mere aspirations that have no impact on the decision. But if the Federal Reserve, with the aspiration of the president, this will be a political intervention with the economic decisions, which will result in a disturbance in the international markets and a difficulty and a challenge not only in the exchange rates within the United States of America, but also with the global markets and global economies, which will be a great threat to the economy in general.
And how does the Federal Reserve assess the potential impact of executive orders like the federal spending freeze on economic stability and inflation?
Of course, the Federal Reserve itself are against these decisions, but eventually it's between two authorities, the authority of the elected president and the judiciary. The U.S. judiciary issued an order to stop the executive orders issued by President Trump regarding the nationality, and they said that these decisions are against the U.S. Constitution. And the freeze of aid and grants are also against the Constitution. Another federal issue which will stop the decision next Monday. There are two things that control the executive orders. The American judiciary, who has the last say stopping these executive orders, and the federal institutions are already against these executive orders issued by President Trump, as they tamper directly with the programs and grants on which a lot of people depend.
So given the current economic climate and expectations for future rate cuts, how do you foresee the Fed's actions impacting U.S. consumers and businesses over the next few months?
Of course, the 2 hours from now, a decision regarding the policy of the Federal Reserve regarding the exchange rate will be issued. A lot of economists expect it to remain without change. They do not expect the Fed to succumb to the aspiration of the American president, but for the markets, they also await to see what is going to happen, especially after the decline in the U.S. exchange after the issuance of an AI app by China and the huge decline we have witnessed not only in the shares prices but also in safe havens. Gold has declined, the encrypted currencies has declined. So any decisions to be issued by the Fed right now, after 2 hours from now, will be very critical, and there will be a press conference in 2:30 New York time to explain the decision of the Federal Reserve Bank. Markets await. This will directly impact all institutions unless there is a decline in inflation rates. The US market and the US consumers will not benefit from lowering the rates. This decision is going to result in so many different things regarding the debts of the American citizens. More than half of US citizens have loans and debts, whether for studying or for normal life essentials. It's not easy for most of the US people. It must be handled professionally with regards to the decision of the exchange rate, pardon, the interest rates. All institutions are now awaiting the decision of the Federal Reserve, who will directly impact the US and also the global interest rates.